Welcome to Living from the Inside Out with Holly Wade. Living from the Inside Out is about living fully, guided from your inside. Holly shares the wisdom of how your mind, body, and spirit are truly connected and that you deep down know your own answers. Holly and her guests will provide tips, practices, and inspirational stories to help you approach your life from your own heart. And here's Holly.
Hey everyone, welcome to Living from the Inside Out. I am your host, Holly Wade with Holly Wade Wellness. And today's subject is near and dear to my heart. We're going to talk about the energy of your body. It's actually the foundation and the basis of everything that I do at this stage in my career, because you aren't just a physical being. You have a personality, you have a soul, you have a mind, you have emotions, and all of those things lead you to health or distress. So let's dive into ancient wisdom applied to modern times, and let's give you a little insight into this. So I bet that you've learned an awful lot of subjects in your lifetime, right? Like maybe language arts, sciences, history, or math, or who knows what else. How much do you know about your body? Like not just basic anatomy and physiology, but how much do you really know and understand your body and those signals that it's telling you, those subtle little signs? Isn't it interesting that we live in a time when people are more willing to trust an app than their own body's wisdom? Like the little chime on your little buzzer on the app goes off and it's like, oh, I need to drink my water now, rather than just understanding your body's signal that you're thirsty or hungry, or maybe it's time to get up and move and stretch. Yet this vessel, this home for your soul, this home for all of you, this body that you get to live in is here to keep you alive. That's its job. It's going to do everything in its power to do so. And as one system shuts down, another's going to fill the gap to prioritize what's most important. So, for example, your body understands that if you're in frigid temperatures, it's more important for blood flow to go to your organs than to your limbs. Your body's going to risk losing that limb because you can still live before it's going to risk harm to an organ. Think about when you go to the doctor's office and they take a blood sample. See, that blood work is going to tell exactly where you stand in terms of nutrients, red blood cell count, white blood cell count, maybe where some imbalances are, or some where some things might be a little bit out of whack. It's going to give the doctor a clue, right? We've definitely gained insights to the capability of the human body through modern science. And in our time, we're really, Western medicine really takes a look at the body through the lens of chemistry, the biochemical processes and how those things work. The ancient world understood it in terms of energy. Think about this. Think about Albert Einstein and what he found to be true in terms of physics and energy. Ancient wisdom, modern confirmation in science, right? See, the ancient world was tapped into this intelligence of their body without all of this technology that we have. This is the cool thing. modern science has confirmed that chakras are real. Chinese meridians are recognized and auras can be captured through photography. Those are all energy fields, all things that have been understood as energy centers. So let's break those down just a little bit for you. Chakras. This comes from Ayurvedic medicine. It's a mind, body, spirit approach. Truly, mind, body, spirit. Yogis understand this. Yogis practice this. So chakras are energy bundles that run up the middle of the body. In Sanskrit, the word chakra translates to mean wheel. So these energy bundles rotate like a wheel. And guess what? They happen to align with the nerve bundles that chiropractors recognize. Isn't that fascinating? So they're legit. They really do govern what was thought back in the ancient times. I don't make this stuff up. So we're going to dive into chakras more in depth in a minute. Hang on here. Meridians, let's talk about those. Meridians are kind of like the meridians of the globe. Like maybe you learned that in elementary school, that there are meridians on our world. And they're just kind of used as a gauge of finding where things are, right? Where places exist. Well, in our bodies, they mark the energy of a certain organ. There are specific pressure points along the meridian, that specific meridian, to assist. So like you may have used the one between your thumb and second finger, kind of in that webbing, to help release a headache. That is a pressure point for a meridian. You maybe have rubbed the bottoms of your feet, not knowing that you're doing reflexology and connecting to meridians and to your organs, to your nerve bundles. You may have pressed in the middle of your hand to release aches in your body. Those are all meridian points. So your hands, feet, and face are used for what we call reflexology. Every organ connects. They are maps of the body and your organs. Every organ connects there. Every tooth is also linked to an organ. So if you have a toothache or you have bacteria appearing in your mouth, that bacteria has to travel somewhere. It either started in your mouth or it came up from the organ. It goes either way. Crazy stuff, huh? The body tells you the truth all the time. So let's talk about auras. Those are meridians. Let's talk about auras. Auras are that energy field beyond your body. So your body doesn't end at your skin. Your energy radiates beyond that. Think about when someone walks in a room. Do you feel when they come into that space? Or there are certain people who just have a presence about them. That's their energy field that you're picking up on. In all of these cases, whether it is chakras, meridians, auras, in all of these cases, energy is just like you think about it in the sense of having energy available in your home or in your community. You need to have these currents of energy open, right, and balanced in order to access it. So in your body, these currents of energy need to be open and balanced for your body to work in harmony, for your organs to all work together, for all your systems to work together. They need to be in sync. So if one starts to be overactive, it kind of creates like a traffic jam somewhere in the body. And that can create a block, or it creates low energy somewhere else. See how that can work? So all kinds of things can disrupt that current in your body. Emotions are a biggie. Toxins, planetary movement, how our planet is relating to other planets, barometric pressure, food, or lack thereof, sleep or lack thereof, and life experiences. Crazy. Crazy cool. So let's dive into those chakras. As I said, they're recognized in Ayurvedic medicine. So that is India, as in the country of India, medicine that's practiced there. It's also the foundation for functional medicine, as you may hear of it here in the States. And yogis dive in to understand that. So let's dive into the chakras in a little more depth. There are 7 that are most commonly recognized, so those are the ones we're going to talk about. So if you start at your base, this is the root chakra. This is chakra 1. We start at the base and move up. This is kind of at your tailbone, basically, or maybe a little bit in front of your tailbone. This one is about feeling stable, supported, secure. When in balance, you recognize that life is supporting you with everything that you need: food, shelter, finances, relationships that are supportive. Physically, think about your legs. The energy flow goes downward to ground you and then rises back up. So it really truly is your, quote, root. This chakra governs your immune and skeletal systems, the lower part of the digestive tract. Imbalances here can lead to IBS, chronic fatigue, constipation, hemorrhoids, maybe some weight issues, any issues in your legs, foot, knee, or leg pain, lower back pain, or sciatica. So that's kind of a list right there. So things that you can ask yourself are, how am I not moving forward? Because it's about the foundation of life. What's keeping me stuck? What am I afraid of? Why am I not moving forward? What's holding me back? Who's holding me back? When it's blocked, you might not feel that you can connect with others. You kind of isolate. You don't feel that you belong, or maybe you feel more like you're in survival mode, scraping to get by. See how that works? As a result, maybe you turn to workaholism to gain more security and stability. You might feel tired or exhausted from running all of the time. Think about your legs. Can you stand on your own 2 feet? What does that feel like for you? Are you controlling or becoming rigid? On the flip side of workaholism, do you lack initiative? See, fear will kick in through and show up as tight hips because you're ready to run, or feeling stuck, you're frozen. Fight, flight, or freeze, right? So it's kind of like you can't move forward no matter how much you try. So let's move up to the second chakra. This is referred to as the sacral chakra, and it sits just below your belly button, right around the womb. Remember, we're going right up the center of the body. So it's not really the front or not really along the spine, so to speak. It's like right through the center. The second chakra governs the kidneys and genital area. Physically, it governs your body's liquid elements like blood, lymph, mucus, semen, urine, and saliva. And it makes sense that it governs the kidneys, bladder, urinary, reproductive, and circulatory systems because it governs the liquid elements, right? Now, this one's kind of fun to talk about. It's the energy center of pleasure, creativity, community, sensuality, as well as sexuality, morality, self-control, and emotions. It is your home for your sacred self. Think about the analogy of the womb. This is the space of the womb. Ladies, are you paying attention here? See, think about what needs to take place in the womb. It's creative. It's relational. self-control. If it's abused one way or the other, we create an aversion to pleasure. We deny ourselves of pleasure. And pleasure does not have to mean sex. It can, but pleasure does not necessarily mean that. Like giving yourself permission to savor a piece of chocolate. Giving yourself permission to dance or sing. Giving yourself permission to do those things that bring you more joy. That's pleasure. Eating really wonderful food. Opening up the senses. Smelling pleasant smells, like stopping and smelling flowers. See what I mean? So when the energy of the second chakra is balanced, this results in blossoming as a person. You're growing. You're intuitive. Your intuition opens up. You're full of dreams and visions to, quote, give birth to something, to bring something into this world. You have these really healthy desires and pleasures. You're adaptable and can go with the flow. You're able to accept change. Here's a biggie. When it's blocked, you may feel shame. Let me repeat that. When it's blocked, you may feel shame. Shame may appear here in your body. Think about it. What have you been taught about sex? What have you been taught about the genital area of your body? Ooh, those are parts to cover up. Those are naughty parts, right? So people with eating disorders or body image issues often have deeper, more deeply embedded issues in the second chakra. They were likely abused, and that can be showing up. So if you have a hard time setting boundaries over just anything, if you're being over emotional or unable to express emotions, one of those extremes, or you spend too much time in la la land, daydreaming, but not really making things happen, not creating, if you have a hard time allowing yourself to feel joy, allowing yourself to taste the sweetness of life, to taste that nectar of life, or if you have a hard time seeing things through to creation, then those are signs that you have issues with that second chakra. Addictions are expressed when the sacral chakra is out of whack. So is depression. So there's a lot of issues that come from this one. So if you've experienced trauma of some kind of belief around sex, it's going to show up. Read Christiane Northrup's work. Health concerns may show up as hardening of the arteries, anemia, kidney and bladder issues, menstrual issues, or impotence for men, or frigidity. So think about it. This chakra has a lot to do with relationships. And if you go down one chakra, it's about family relationships or people that we trust, right? Now, when you understand how to utilize this information, you have the ability to create health and or wealth when this chakra is open. So to balance it, to balance the second chakra, you just have to come back to the things you enjoy. What gives you delight? What gives you pleasure? You're not supposed to feel guilty for self-care. You're not supposed to feel guilty over this chakra, over the actions. So we'll dive into this one a little more in depth someday because it's kind of a fun one to talk about. I feel like we need some music in the background there. So let's move on up to the third chakra. This one sits at your solar plexus, and this is where you carry your power or your sense of self. Think about it. It's your self-worth. Now, this is, if you haven't kind of figured out, if the lower chakras are blocked or out of whack, it's going to impact those higher up. So it goes both ways. It goes up and down. So back to the third chakra. This is the level where change and personal growth happen. The element here is fire. Think passion. Like, how do you express that? Well, we express that in the second chakra, right? But we also express that as we come up, because this is like the passion for what we want to do with our lives. As your dreams rise up from the second chakra, they become transformed from passion. They move up into the heart and become expression. So physically, the solar plexus governs your digestive system. Isn't digestion fire? It also governs your muscles and make sure that your inner thermostat is balanced. Now think about this. So fire, right? You need that thermostat. You need that temperature to be just right. Now think about this in terms of muscles. That might seem like a stretch, but not really, because food breaks down in the gut to transform so that your muscles have the energy to work and perform the way they need to. It actually all makes sense. Your health actually begins in your gut. The ancient world thought of the gut as the second brain. Now think about this. Think about this beyond the literal sense of food digestion. So when you have a gut instinct or a gut response, that's your intuition. The ancients understood that we would pick up on those responses before our brain would rationalize it. It is now understood that your gut does absorb emotions. You have to digest them. So if you hold stress or hold emotions, if you suppress emotions and hold them in your gut, they will churn inside of you. Do you ever get anxious? If you swallow your emotions too quickly or gulp, you might get hiccups. Acid reflux is not swallowing your emotions. They're burning on the way down or back up. See how this works? It's really not as complicated as we make it. The body tells you everything. It is intelligently designed. It just fascinates me. I'm mind boggled every time I dive into this and teach this. It just I'm just in awe of the human body. So when the energy of the solar plexus is balanced, you feel unique and valued and confident and energetic. See how body image isn't an issue? Because it's about what's inside. That's the point of this radio program. People respect you and are drawn to you. You have a presence. You have the strength to keep secrets, and you're open by nature. You have this nice balance. You're spontaneous and loving and open, right? Your energy moves freely up to your heart. And as that energy moves downward, because energy moves both ways, you're down to earth and grounded and you can go with the flow. That's where that spontaneity can kick in. Now, when you're powerful and you trust your gut, It will feel like your gut is pulling you towards something. Now, when you are truly in your power, and the thing that scares people is that word of power because it's so misused and abused. That's not what we're talking about in this case. It's when you have that healthy sense of yourself. When you have that strong sense of self-worth, you're able to avoid excess. You respect other boundaries and you teach them how to respect yours. You can enjoy challenges, but you're not a workaholic. Imbalances in this energy manifest as a need to manipulate or be controlled by others. So let me repeat that. When you're imbalanced in this third chakra, it will show up as a need to manipulate. On one hand, so you're trying to control other people, or on the other hand, you let yourself be controlled by other people. People pleasers? I used to be. If you have too much of this energy, you become judgmental, aggressive, perfectionistic, angry, and hateful. I've been in that category, the perfectionist part and judgmental part, I'll admit it. Underactivity or not having enough fire leads to neediness or attention seeking. So ailments expressed here include indigestion, food intolerances, diabetes, eating disorders, paralysis, and muscle spasms. So while body image shows up in the second chakra, the expression can show up in the third chakra. See how they kind of interplay? So here are some questions to ask yourself. Are you controlled by doubt and fear? Because the power is all about having courage and standing in your courage. Do you feel a need to be right? Is it more important to be right than to be compassionate? Do you have to be the center of attention? Do you worry about other people's opinions about you and your life? See, this is where that inner conflict can come in. So this is all about self-worth. It's not just self-esteem. Self-esteem is more like my appearance. I feel good about my appearance, but self-worth runs deeper. How do you value yourself? How do you view yourself in this world? Not just alone, but how do you view yourself? What is your role? What is your place? You understand it, you know it, and you own it. Make sense? Let's move up. Let's talk about the heart. This one's fun too. Now, the heart is the center, the very center of the chakras. It's the fourth. We have 7, right? This one's the very, very middle. And this is where that connection between being fully human and fully divine, fully spiritual, a spirit, because you are both. This is where that connects and resonates. As I alluded to a little bit ago, the heart chakra is the chakra of expression. Think about it. Your emotions well up and express themselves through your heart. Your arms are here for a reason, right? When you feel joy, what happens? Your arms open up and express it. When you see someone you love, what happens? You open up your arms to give them an embrace. When someone hurts, what do? You open your arms so you can wrap them around that person and comfort them and hold them, right? So through that heart connection, through that heart chakra, the sacred space inside of you, you can touch others or be touched by someone else. So while the second chakra is the seat of the emotions, the heart is the expression of them. See how that third chakra transforms them? See how they all connect and work? So when balanced with those lower chakras, just like before, you feel grounded. And the addition is that you also feel free. Words to describe it might be trusting or self-accepting, compassionate. I have a friend who told me that that means to be fully, what did she say? It's basically to be on fire, filled with hope. So this energy that rises up, when that energy is coming up from those lower chakras, it allows your dreams to transform into action. You take your passion, that gut, you take that passion and you bring it into this world to create something. Maybe something small, maybe something grand. Who knows? So from a physical standpoint, the heart chakra governs the heart and lungs. Not that hard to figure out. Heard of a broken heart? When you express grief, it'll show up in your lungs. Or when you repress grief or suppress grief, it'll actually show up in your lungs. So other expressions of an unbalanced heart chakra might be asthma or pneumonia, chronic bronchitis. Notice this, if you feel upper back or shoulder pain or neck pain, why are you carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Let me say that again. If you have upper back, neck or shoulder pain, why are you carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders? Do you protect your heart? See, when we protect, we pull in. So your heart, because when we're open-hearted, it's a risk. It's a big risk to open your heart and to love unconditionally. So while that second chakra was about intimacy and connections in that level, the heart is also about relationships and connection. It's also about intimacy. Because when you hand your heart to someone, that is sacred. You are giving them the most sacred part of you. So when someone stabs you in the back, you feel betrayal. Makes sense? The way to awaken a closed-off heart is to sit, close your eyes, and just listen to it. The wisdom that you need is right there. The forgiveness that you need is right there. It's scary. It's a scary place to go. And that's what's going to break you free. So when your heart is open, you express joy, unconditional love, forgiveness, and compassion. So see how that lower chakra of self-worth is important here? Because you need to give those things to yourself. You need to give yourself that unconditional love, that forgiveness, and that compassion. Because as you'll hear me say often, it's not someone else's job to make you happy. That's your job. Let's move up to the fifth chakra. This one's your throat. It's your voice, your seat for communication. So while your heart is where you express, your voice is where you give it words. It's connecting. It's between your heart and your mind. Think about that. How do you say I love you? With your words, with your mouth. How do you kiss? Or that's another way to say I love you is with a kiss, right? We express with our mouth. We speak through our throat. And your words have power. When you speak something into this world, you've created it. You've put energy behind it. So are you going to stand behind your word? Are your actions going to line up with your word? This chakra represents your will, your power of choice, your sense of truth. This is where your integrity between your words and actions align or they don't. And that's going to tell you if that chakra is open or closed. This is where you take responsibility for your decisions. This is where you speak up for yourself and for your beliefs. This is where you speak your mind. It's where you speak the truth in love and kindness. See, you're expressing the truth that's in your heart, and you're expressing the thoughts and ideas that are in your mind. So besides the mouth and the throat, the chakra also includes the ears, eyes, and hands. It's all these things that we use for communication. So while it's not just, it's communication, keep that in mind. It's communication, not just speaking. It's also listening. Can you see the balance between those two actions, listening and speaking? Do you know people who speak too much? And if you don't have the self-worth, maybe you don't speak up. And if you're a person who speaks too much, you're not allowing other people to speak up. How do you listen? And not just to other people, not just to the world. Do you listen to your heart? Do you listen to others to gain empathy? Like, do you truly listen beyond the words and really listen to them, to their actions, to their full, what they're telling you without telling you? So if you speak too much or not enough, if you don't know how to listen, those are signs that you're out of balance. And the expression of an imbalanced throat chakra, is gossip, overeating, smoking, alcoholism, eating disorders, speech complaints, may even just show up as a sore or scratchy throat. Like, did you tell a lie? Did you not speak in integrity? It'll show up. So when your throat is balanced, you feel like you can express your thoughts, beliefs, ideas, creativity, emotional needs, and you don't care what other people think. Now remember, you do it in love. Do it through the heart. So if it's blocked, it'll keep you from speaking up, from telling the full truth. You might tell a partial truth. Think politicians. Think the news. A blockage will keep you from putting a smile on your face. Or you'll put a smile on your face when your inside feels different. See what I mean? There's a disconnect. Too much energy here will express itself as verbal vomit. And we have all been there. We have all done it. And sometimes it's necessary. We just got to get the gunk out, right? But just know that once you get it out, that's enough. You don't have to keep regurgitating it. So if you have a blocked throat, sing. Get in your shower or in your car and sing on a regular basis, and sing badly and loudly. And don't care what anybody thinks. If you're off key, who cares? Dance with it, have fun with it. The other part of that is to listen, to practice listening so that you can share wisdom. Because remember, this body is a vessel. So let's move up the third eye. This is your sixth chakra, and it sits right in the middle of your forehead between your eyebrows. This one is another level of intuition. So the first place is your gut, right? Your gut just knows. We talked about that. When you have that gut response, that flag that comes up, that'll just tell you. This is a different level of intuition. So this time it's your ability to see beyond what others tell you or what your eyes tell you. This is your wisdom. This is the seat of your wisdom. This is what manages your conscious and subconscious mind. It's also going to regulate and oversee all the other chakras. So see how it's really important to keep this one healthy? Now, just so brilliantly, as I truly believe our bodies are designed. And in the front of your brain, you have this thing called a pineal gland. It's about the size of a pea, and it sits just a little bit behind your forehead. This little gland happens to govern all of your endocrine system. That third eye governs the rest of your chakras. Think that's a coincidence? And again, the ancient world understood this. Now, this is where your personality comes through. It comes through this chakra. It's also the seat of your judgment, your emotional intelligence, your perception of reality, your ability to rationalize, and wisdom. So if you kind of think about it, you have these lower chakras, and as you move up, they also kind of repeat, but at a higher level. Because now we're in that higher level of consciousness. We're in that higher connection of the spirit, right? So this is another place of intuition, just like your gut is a place of intuition. This is a place of emotional intelligence. Well, where do emotions rise from? They rise from the body. Where do thoughts come from? They come from your mind, and your body responds. They come from the conscious and the subconscious mind. And your body will create some reaction based on what is getting picked up by the third eye, not by your brain, by your third eye. I want to be kind of clear on that. Because these things, this information is going in at such a deep level into your body. It's crazy cool, crazy cool. So mastering the mind, not just your brain, but your full mind, comes through practices that help to control thought, that help you to just pay attention to thought, that help you to concentrate, that help you to be in meditation without being disrupted. This is what helps you to attain enlightenment. So when it's opened and balanced, you can see the world without judgment. You see it more objectively. It's kind of challenging in today's climate, isn't it? Now to flip it, just choose to remember that everyone has their own lessons to learn. View it through the lens of observation and lessons. What can you do about it? Is there anything? Is there a problem you can solve based on what you're seeing? That's where that higher level of wisdom comes through and would move down to the heart for you to create. See how that works? So your crown chakra is at the top of your head, kind of sits just above your head. The way that it is viewed is like 1,000 suns over your head. In paintings, it's depicted as a halo. This is your connection to the divine, to God. This is your expression to those things that lie beyond the dimensions of everyday existence. So this is how you're going to get those downloads, those things that come from outside of you and come through you. So let me give you an example. And this doesn't happen to me all the time. But we all have spiritual gifts. Some people have the gift of being able to vision something. Some people have the ability to hear things from another realm. So I I'd been asked to go on a date, to go on a dinner date. And I put this guy off for 4 months. And I mean, I'm one who's like, it's not that I didn't, I kind of didn't respond. The first time I was like, this isn't a no, it's a not now. And then he asked me again a couple months later. And I sat with it and I was going, it's not a part of my vision board. And no joke, that was part of it. And I just gave myself all of these reasons. Now, I'm a person who believes that when a man asks me on a date or to dinner, he at least deserves an answer. It takes courage to ask. And a lot of men won't step forward and ask. So I believe that they actually deserve an answer. Well, I thought I'd only put it off a couple weeks. Turns out I put it off for a month, a little over a month. And I decided that I was going to say no, that I was going to be like, yeah, thanks, but no thanks. You're not a part of my vision board. I wasn't going to say that. That's what I was thinking. Like, this doesn't map out with my plan for my life. So I'm down in the kitchen. I can tell you exactly where I was. And I literally hear this voice, like over my left shoulder. It was like I could feel breath on my cheek into my ear that said, what are you so afraid of? Got it. So I went upstairs, opened up my laptop, and got on Facebook to message him. And he was on one last time to ask me one more time. And we happened to get on at the same time, and our messages crossed. Like, as soon as I asked it, I got the answer. As soon as he messaged it, he got mine. It was crazy wild. And guess what? See, that is how, when we are open to the divine, that is how it works. Those messages will come to us to guide us from outside of us, from inside of us, from in that gut and that heart space on the inside. And from the outside, it comes as like this download or a message in some way. And I believe that we get these messages because we are vessels to be of service for God, to serve in this world, to love other people, to create things that are needed in this world. So when this crown chakra is off balance, it's going to show up as self-centeredness or materialism. That doesn't mean that you can't have these things. It means that you keep it in the right perspective. When this chakra is off balance, it becomes difficult to connect with other people in the world around you because you isolate and become so turned toward yourself. Everything's about you. When it's blocked, different from off balance, when it's blocked, you're unreceptive to the downward flow of those messages from the divine. And you're also unreceptive to those upward energy from the lower chakras, to those upward, to that message to the divine. So the wonder of the universe is absent. Your creative pursuits are squashed because they lack divine inspiration. So again, repeat of the pelvis, right? Of the womb, of creativity. A little bit, but at a higher level. So people who experience a complete block of the crown chakra can't see beyond the mundane of daily life. They just can't get past it. Life is gray instead of colorful. They might be totally materialistic, and life is pretty superficial as a result. There's not a lot of depth in their world. They may have a lot of things, but they lack depth. Or someone who has a complete block of the crown chakra might participate in extremist groups. Hatred. So to open this chakra, we meditate. We listen. Now this flow of energy goes upward, and as you can see, it progresses. So you have this root, you have this base of life, this foundation for life, and then it comes upward into the space of creativity, right? Of vision, of connection, of sensuality, of pleasure, because I don't think we're here to suffer. And then it moves up into this place of power and self-worth. And it's transformed into the heart, into love and passion and expression. And then it comes up into communication. It rises up into wisdom, where that thing that's been created continues to rise. And then you can rationalize it, create new ideas, new thoughts with it, transmute it a little bit more, and then bring it back down to the heart and express it more. Comes up and you share that. So as you keep coming up, you're getting closer to the divine. As you come down, you're getting closer to the human side of things, groundedness. And that flow, that open flow, goes both ways. There's that mind connection, how your thoughts create the response in your body, the emotion. There's a spiritual side to each chakra. There's a spiritual connection to each one. And of course, there's the physical body. And when you begin to understand the wisdom that your body is telling you, when you understand what that tension actually means and how you can change it, you begin to understand what you need to do in order to align your mind, body, soul, and life. And when those things are all in alignment, you experience bliss. No joke. I believe in ancient wisdom is that the body is a temple. It is the home of your soul. It has all the wisdom that you need. All your answers are right here. You just haven't been taught what to do with it or how to access it. Or for whatever reason, you quit trusting yourself. You quit trusting that wisdom inside of you. You trusted everybody else. So let's go ahead and do just a little meditation so that you can tune into each chakra and so that you start to understand these tools that you have to regain alignment of them. So get comfortable, unless you're driving, but get comfortable seated or lying down. Close your eyes whenever you're ready and take a couple of deep breaths. Feel your belly rise and fall. Feel that expansion of your belly. And feel it soften and pull back into your body. Now, it doesn't matter what color of light you envision, whatever is calling to you today. And imagine this light just a little bit in front of your tailbone. And it connects into your body and it drops down through your legs. You can feel this energy going downward. Goes into your feet and then it connects to the earth below you. And it continues to go down. You feel this groundedness. You feel this anchor, this steadiness and the support. And this light goes down to the center of the earth, where the fire of the earth is, to match the fire inside of you. And that light comes back up, reconnects to the bottoms of your feet. And as it touches your body, it comes inward and touches every little nook, cranny, and crevice inside of your body, bringing energy, bringing balance, bringing harmony to every cell, decompressing any spaces that are restricted. Comes up your feet into your ankles, coming up your lower legs, touching the marrow of your bones, and coming into the skeleton and touching every part of that musculoskeletal system, every little vein, every little space and crevice, touching all the blood cells. Comes up into the knees, into your thighs, and into your hips. And that same color of light comes up to that second chakra right behind your belly button. You feel that womb come to life. All of the organs of that spot, your kidneys, your uterus, your ovaries. If you're a guy, you don't have a uterus. If you're a guy, to the testes and to your reproductive organs. To the bladder. Slows down the adrenals and calms them down. And that light comes up to the third chakra, to the solar plexus, and it touches every organ of the digestive system. The liver, the gallbladder, the stomach, the intestines, the pancreas and the spleen, and they all flow with ease. The butterflies calm down, the anxiety calms down because you trust where you are right here, right now. You trust the inner wisdom, your inner guidance. And as it comes up, it connects into your heart, flooding your heart and lungs. And as it goes into your heart, it touches your circulatory system. So that blood flow is energized. It reaches down your arms to your fingertips with the energy of passion and compassion, with joy and expression, with love and gratitude and kindness and peace. So you know how to experience those things because you're accessing them right now. And that light comes back into your heart and it comes up to the middle of your throat. And you notice that when you breathe, your air hits the back of your throat. So you know that it's open. You know that as you speak, you can speak truth in love and kindness. You can speak up for yourself. You can speak up for those who can't. You have a voice and it needs to be heard. And as it rises up, it touches your ears and you have the capability to listen. To listen inward and to listen outward. So that you can be open to divine guidance for solving a problem, for stepping in to help, for seeing things differently, for communicating wisdom to someone who needs to hear an encouraging word. You're open so that that can run through you. And that light comes up to your brain, touching your mind, and more importantly, opening your mind's eye, opening that third eye so that you can see beyond the physical. You can anticipate. You can predict. You can be proactive. And you're open, just like the prophets of the ancient days. You are open to that wisdom from above, to that guidance from above, whether that is personal or collective. You are open to the wisdom of your Creator. And as we rise up, you really are open to the wisdom of the Creator. You are in touch and in tune with enlightenment, with the divine, with creation, with Creator, with God. And that light continues to go up and it expands beyond the universe, where that being that is greater than all of us, that being that created all of this universe, has its arms wrapped around, holding the universe. That energy of unconditional love, of peace, of harmony, of courage. That divine wisdom, that unconditional love comes back down and runs from the top of your head to the third eye, to your throat, to your heart, to your gut, to your sacrum, to your root, and back down. And you can feel this openness through your body, because now you are that open vessel to serve and to show up in this world as a child of God. So just stay with this feeling. Observe anything that changed as you were tuning in. Take a couple of breaths and let your belly expand and fall one more time. Whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. If you want to just stay there for a little bit, stay there, enjoy it. See, if you're feeling blocked and you'd like some help understanding this wisdom of your body, how you can open the energy of your body, email me at holly@hollywadewellness.com and let's chat. Because I've got a couple of group programs coming up that might be helpful for you. And I also do one-on-one coaching. Because here's the thing, you've been called to create something that this world desperately needs. Let me explain it a different way. Inspiration hits and you have a choice to either trust that guidance, knowing that everything you need will show up because the universe already has it mapped out, or you resist, procrastinate, or run from it. And eventually someone else gets tapped as the vessel to bring that to fruition. So if you've been that person who's run, who resists, who procrastinates, your second chakra is likely blocked. This is why I've created Blissed Body, unlocking your feminine divine energy. Because that is all feminine energy right there in that second chakra. We're going to go into the womb. We're going to understand it. And together, we're going to work on unblocking. We're going to go into that deep crevice of what's really going on at the root. Not just that those ideas aren't coming into fruition, because it might not just be a mindset around success. There might be something really embedded inside of you, deeply seated into your body, something that your subconscious remembers, that's keeping you from seeing things through from conception to incubation to birth. That's all feminine energy. So we can shift that block by allowing yourself to rediscover pleasure, giving yourself time to create, nurturing yourself and nurturing what you're creating. That's what we're going to do for 4 weeks. So if you're interested in that, if that is speaking to you, you know you've got deeper work to do in order to answer your calling, email me right away because space is going to be limited and you don't want to miss that opportunity. Because that's how we're going to start 2018, is by opening that second chakra, because the world needs you. The world needs what you're being called to do. Tapping into the body, understanding your body's wisdom. That is ancient wisdom. And we can apply it to our modern life. You know what these things feel like. You just don't know what to do with it. And it just takes practice, just like anything else. So show up every day. Show up for yourself. And start to trust your body again. Start to trust that wisdom again. Thanks for joining me today. This is Holly with Living from the Inside Out. And I hope that today's program spoke to you. If so, please let me know, because I like to know how the show is helping people. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next week on Living from the Inside Out. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for joining us at Living from the Inside Out. Listen every Tuesday at 6 p.m. Eastern. To connect with Holly, just go to www.globalvoiceradio.com. Global Voice Radio is where your voice and your message is heard.